Yo, all right. I'm making this video because I posted on TikTok about how Vegito that Goku talks about in the Battle of God's arc would actually be stronger than God Goku that he turns into from the God ritual. And some people understood, some people didn't. The video is currently at 300K views on TikTok, with a mix of comments and people going back and forth. And I'm like, for the people that understand, um, I'm glad you're able to understand, but for the people that don't, I'm like making a visual representation of what we're talking about. So yes, this is a picture of, not picture, but GIF of Vegito from the Goku Black arc. This is not that Vegito in base. That's not the one I'm talking about. I just used that for super animation version of Vegito. So moving on, just starting with the base power and multipliers spreadsheet that I made, because Tournament of Power proves what I'm talking about, right? And for the Tournament of Power, I just made Goku the pinnacle as like a 10. He's had his fight with Jiren and has gotten more power from Awakening Ultra Instinct. Um, Vegeta would be a 9 because they're similar at this point still. As you can see, everybody else falls in line. It's the 5, the 4, and Kale. I even have her different multiplier just to try to fully get the numbers of what should be going on. And the reason why hers works is because even though she's stronger than Kefla, as you can see, looking at them in their base Super Saiyan and as Super Saiyan 2s, she's still not stronger than Goku, which is what we see and what we're going to get into. Um, and also, these X's just represent the forms that people don't have access to, so the multipliers for them don't matter. And starting with Vados, what does Vados say about the Potara fusion? She says that it's more than the sum of their parts, and it's then multiplied by tens of times. So the fusion equation, we could say, is A plus B times C, or you could say technically A times B times C, but I'm not trying to like highball scale or get nobody too crazily over what I think they would even be at. But just know this is the fusion equation, or when I refer to the fusion multiplier or amp, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about that constant C. Um, in the Tournament of Power, we see that both of these girls working together, they can't overcome Goku in Super Saiyan 2. But when they fuse into Potara, their base form is over God Goku, who at that point is already transformed. And once they go Super Saiyan 2, they're over Blue and Blue Kaioken, just starting to lose. Correcting myself, just starting to lose once they go into fighting UI Sign Goku. The math of that, based off of what we were just looking at, if Goku represented the 10, yeah, multiplying itself by 100 times, that would put him at 1,000. And for the girls and their multipliers, she's at 960 and she's at 500. So if the God multiplier is 600, just for this, once again, as the example, this is not the canon multiplier, but we just know that it should be greater than Super Saiyan 3, which is a times 400 amplifier. If Goku would be at a 6,000 because of that, we know that she's bigger than 6,000 because she's blatantly over God Goku. And whatever number you try to say it is for this, this is why I love math. The base is still just a bigger number than that. Like, it's just a bigger amp. And when she times it by, 100, and we get into this, it's just like, yeah, like she's still over everybody here, and her number's bigger than what Blue Kaioken's is. Only starting to lose once again once they got into Master Ultra Instinct. This is just what we can take from that is, if two girls that as Super Saiyan 2s, if they're weaker than Goku and able to make a fusion that is stronger than Goku, Goku in a fusion himself, plus Vegeta, who is typically in a similar level of power to him in Super, they should also be able to make a fusion that is stronger than God Goku if he just transforms into Super Saiyan God. So you can move the girls away from your mind. This was just proof through the math of the multipliers, because their multipliers are what stay constant. Their base levels of power are what fluctuate. And this just proves the math of that. Okay, so no matter what point you go to in Dragon Ball, if you take Goku from any saga at the same level of base power, if he used the God transformation versus if him and Vegeta fused and they have at least Super Saiyan 2, because you got to remember that's the only amplifiers Kale and Khalifa have, um, they should come out stronger than God Goku would be at that time. So yes, Goku is tired before we even get anything else. But once again, this is going to be a fresh Goku for both of these, and even with Goku being tired, as you trying to say, like, or some people were trying to say that's the reason why they were able to overcome him while he was in base. The fusion goes on to fight Blue Goku, Blue Kaioken Goku, and match up against Sign MUI Goku. So it's like even if Goku was 100%, 100% healthy God Goku is not beating like a Blue Kaioken Goku or a Sign Ultra Instinct Goku. Like Goku even says at the start of his fight with Kefla that he has to have a certain level of power to even hold a transformation up. So the weakened version of the transformation and the full power version of the transformation aren't like light years apart from each other, right? So it doesn't even matter. Once again, that's like number 3. This is a healthy God Goku, just taking different routes to increase his power with the same base. For Battle of Gods, here are the multipliers and what people have access to. We get Goku is a 10 relative. Please understand, relative to the Battle of Gods. This is the 10 for Goku in Battle of Gods and the 10 for Goku in the Tournament of Power are not the same 10. It's just like Goku being the bar set of being the 10. And I was like Vegeta's at this point, probably like a 7. Right. So once again, these different routes, this would be minimum that we've seen required to be over God Goku is you need to have 2 Super Saiyan 2 multipliers plus the Potara amp to be over God Goku, right? Getting into it, this Goku, once again, his power level would be 6,000 at the end of that. But the beautiful thing about Potara is whatever your highest amplifier is, that's what it would scale off of for the A plus B. So Goku and Vegeta's A plus B would be the 400x times 100x. And we already saw that like the 100x times the 160x was enough to put you over God Goku. So yeah, they have an even bigger multiplier at their hands, at their disposal, than Kel and Khalifa had when they used Potara amp, right? So yes, and like I think this is also another part that people aren't understanding that um, this Goku that just does the God ritual is the one that's fighting Vegito for my scenario, not this Goku that is God stacking. This is just the God amp. This is the God stack. You can clearly see the difference if we just factor it into their power levels, how vastly different these two are in power. And this scene, once again, or not once again, but I haven't said this. This scene is from the Battle of Gods movie. It's not in the anime. So if you haven't seen it in a while, or like, where is that from? It's from the movie, which they have different stuff that happen. Okay, so I just showed you with math how mathematically Goku and Vegeta with the Super Saiyan 3 times the Super Saiyan 2 Potara amp should be greater than God Goku. Getting into the narrative, which people try to argue wouldn't make sense. Like since Super Saiyan God comes after fusion, it has to be stronger. Why wouldn't they fuse into Vegito if he'd be stronger? The problem with this is the Battle of Gods arc is not an arc that can be solved with strength. Beerus, who is the god of destruction, as we know, is bored. He's been asleep and he's bored. So when he remembers that there was a premonition or a prophecy of the Super Saiyan God was going to be a thing that came into existence that could entertain him, he went to seek it out. Like, as you can see, he says, I shall find him at all costs, the Super Saiyan God. But he doesn't know, him or Whis doesn't know who or what the Super Saiyan God is. This trip, that's why I emphasize it, is to satisfy the curiosity of Beerus. Getting into like Goku's actual performance, which people oftentimes ignore, all people talk about, which is so irritating, is just Super Saiyan 3 getting one shot by Beerus, because that did happen, but you're not acknowledging what happened beforehand with the visuals. So, like, as you can see, when Goku's first in Super Saiyan, Whis has a box of lunch with him, and he like, yeah, I'm not gonna have time to even eat this. And Beerus comments about Super Saiyan that Super Saiyan disappointing. Once he goes into Super Saiyan 2, Beerus back again to the lunchbox is like, I'll still pass on eating. And Beerus is like, yeah, it's quite the skill that he's able to multiply his power like he's doing. Like when you go look at it. Um, but it's obviously still not enough, as you can see in the GIF. He's dodging like wider than he was against Super Saiyan, but Goku's still not making contact. Goku actually first starts making contact with suppressed Beerus once he transformed into Super Saiyan 3. And Whis actually just initially seeing Super Saiyan 3 is like, okay, now you know what? I do got some time to eat. Like he decides to be able to eat his meal, and Beerus talks about how like Super Saiyan 3 is vastly more powerful than Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2, which makes sense as we know that the multiplier goes from a 50 and 100 for the first two forms to a 400 for Super Saiyan 3. It makes perfect sense why Super Saiyan 3 is vastly more powerful. But this is also showing that to be able to start to make contact with a suppressed Beerus, um, you just need to have a Super Saiyan 3's level of power. And we know that fusion, the base of a fusion is stronger than the forms that like even initially go into it. And we see that in the Buu saga, like Super Saiyan 3 Goku couldn't fight against Buu Tinks or Buhan, couldn't really do any damage to him at all. Whereas once they fuse, base Vegito is stronger than Buhan. So base Vegito is going to be much stronger than this version of Super Saiyan 3 that's already getting the acknowledgement of Beerus and Whis. And it's not a leap to be able to say that he should be able to put up a similar level of performance to God Goku when you factor in not only is he greater than Super Saiyan 3 Goku in base, but he has his transformations that he should be able to go into. Um, this is also tackling like what is important about Super Saiyan God is not how strong it is currently, but uh, Super Saiyan God is unique in the aspect it's the only form that Goku's ever had that raised his like floor level of power to what it was in that transformation. None of his other Super Saiyan forms or even God forms, if you factor in Ultra Instinct, have done that for him. This is the greatest amp that Goku's ever gotten in the history of his life to his base level of power in one go. That's the importance of the form. Like they, even though Vegito, oh yeah, this is back to this, right? Like even though Vegito would be stronger, it's not important because Goku wouldn't be as strong like after the fact, and everything after the fact of this like happening when he absorbs it impacts the rest of the story of Dragon Ball Super. So like this is also just showing a visual representation of as an example, what if Goku would have absorbed Super Saiyan when he initially unlocked it fighting against Frieza? We know that his power level in base was 3 million because you just divide 50 by what is confirmed for his power level of Super Saiyan, which is that 150 million. So yes, like you can see the vast difference. If Goku never trained but only absorbed that into his base, and he unlocks like the other levels of Super Saiyan, um, this is like the vast difference in what's really going to be going on with Goku. The whole series of Dragon Ball Z will be much easier for him. Um, and this is why I point out the difference between Goku and Frieza in the actual battle we saw is a 1.25 level of difference. That was all you needed for Goku to come out on top in that encounter. If Goku absorbed Super Saiyan into his base and went Super Saiyan again, the difference between them is 63.75, and this is just showing like how impactful it is to have a form that allows you to absorb into your base that initial form's level of power. So hopefully with this video, you understand my argument better. Hopefully you see that I'm right, because it doesn't make sense otherwise, like you're just kind of disagreeing with the math of Dragon Ball Super. Um, if you kind of like disagree with this, like once again, these two girls weaker than Goku were able to make the base level fusion that was stronger than Goku, and their fusion cap, just going back to this, their fusion cap is 160 and 100. Goku and Vegeta in the Battle of Gods would be 100 and 400. Like, it's kind of blatant at that point once you really understand the process, what I'm talking about. If you like this video, um, subscribe. I plan to have more videos once again in the future, talking about manga, anime, manhwa, especially heavily, and gaming stuff on here. Thank you for watching if you watched the video fully through, and hope you have a good rest of the day.